Alberta's Danielle Smith says any disruption in the Strait of Hormuz is just another reason for a pipeline. There's just how many reasons for a pipeline? So many that we would spend the rest of the day coming up with reasons. And one would have to ask, if you're a reporter that gets access to Mark Carney, you would ask him the simple question. You sat in committee and said there's no reason for the Northern Gateway pipeline. Do you regret that decision? Do you regret that recommendation? Do you? Will you rescind that recommendation? Nobody asked. It's just laying there. It's just laying there. And nobody asks. They're too busy, or their mouths are too full of sausage rolls. And they've been corrupted by this scheme to fund media. You know, if we get rid of the funding scheme for media, that's about $3 billion back into the taxpayer trough that you don't have to pay. $3 billion a year is for media at a minimum, plus what they spend on media. So it's probably like $5 billion a year just fed to the media machine here in Canada that doesn't even do their job. Imagine that.
But I feel like they don't even have the experience. They don't even have the life experience, the knowledge. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that we talk a lot about energy, and we're also, I would assume, the only media outlet in Canada, must be one of the only ones, that has somebody with a lot of experience in mining as one of the presenters. That's not a coincidence, is it? That we talk about that and we have that. Because everybody else went to the same bloody universities. They grew up in the same suburbs, in the same cities. And it's white collar all the way down. They don't know the first thing about bloody pipelines and things like that. And nor do they want to, more to the point. They don't want to know about it. They only know about it because like the wet sweating aren't favor it or something like that. Like, or Greenpeace said it's going to blow the world up and Greta Thunberg's not happy about it. Like, that's their access point. It's very much like an urban perspective and a white collar perspective. And I hate that. That sounds quite simplistic and almost like Marxist, doesn't it, what I'm saying? But I really think that that's true. I think that Canada's journalists, for the most part, are just children of the suburbs and the cities, and they just don't know the first thing about this, and they don't care really. It's not something that matters to them.
I'm going to do a little plug for our show right here, The Really Big Show, and I'm going to say that I would challenge any of the media outlets to have what we have that we bring to the table. I have a blue collar background, high school dropout, went back to school after, but worked in forestry, pulled boards on the green chain, worked in forestry for 10 years, worked in Alberta forestry as a firefighter too, worked in the oil field, seismic drilling, worked as a mine site controller, worked as a dishwasher, worked as a cook. I understand the blue collar work, and I lived in so many of the small towns here in Canada, including Thompson, Woboden, High Level, Fort Vermilion, Medicine Hat, Williams Lake, Prince George, Dawson Creek, and I was just Three Hills, Edmonton, and then, Kelowna, Greenwood, Midway, BC. And in Ian, what Ian brings to the table is he's got that educational background. He's also one of the best trained journalists here in Canada. He used to work for the Daily Mail and has what you would call a stellar, like a scholar when it comes to history. And we have to understand history, or else we're in danger of repeating ourselves.
But I would say everybody has access to this knowledge. It's not like it's secret knowledge or anything like that. I've talked about him before, but read Václav Smil. He's a Canadian, and he writes about energy in extraordinary depth. Read his books. Read Daniel Jürgen. Read, there's just so many. Eric Hobsbawm, even. If you're on the left, read Eric Hobsbawm, a Marxist historian, and read his histories of the Industrial Revolution in Britain. It's just all about coal outputs and things like that, and how that is directly related to British power in the 19th century. It's not like these books will all be in the library, I would assume, wherever you live. Very easy to read. And these are like the gold standard texts. But obviously, like I say, even the journalists and the white collar people, they're not interested in reading books about fertilizer and natural gas and things like that. They're just
I,
that doesn't even enter their head as something of interest. They would much rather read about social movements or something like that, and that is their that's how they access history, through a social movement. So it's like, oh, the Luddites. Okay, I'll read a book about the Luddites or something like that, rather than the real ingredients that build a country.
So somebody made a point here, and I do want to make this point. I'd say that one of the problems with the media is it's a godless media. That they've lost what the basis of Western civilization is. And I would wonder how many of them actually even read the King James Bible, or any Bible for that matter. How many of them actually have read the Bible? I know Ian has, and I know I have. Ian has it actually right next to him. And, like, we have a godless
Cameras
media.
on top of it.
And Western values, family values, and you're going to get that here. And if that aligns with you, great, you found the right place here. And if you could help us get this out to a bigger audience, we want to hold them accountable. That's what media's job is, to hold power accountable. So the bigger we get, the more voice we get, the more we can demand that they come and join us here and sit there and listen and then answer questions. Because right now, that's what they need. They need to be held accountable, and they're not being held accountable right now. The closure of the Strait of Hormuz by Iran is sending shockwaves around the global energy markets. The stock market had a big crash, already kind of recovering, and had one of those washouts for sure. Like, you see that every now and then. I think it was down about 1,200 points at one point here. It's already bouncing back. So you're going to get these washouts, and traders, there's a lot of bots running the trading platforms now. They're so fast. And so you have to be ready if you're a trader. I used to trade as well. That's one of the things I did too, trading. And you just have to watch. And if you believe in what you're buying, like say you like different stocks or different things, you look at these moments as opportunities, not as sellouts, right? So you wait for these opportunities, and that's what it is, right? Instead of and the opportunity right now is that people are banging on the door for Canada. They're banging on the door for Canada. They want Canada's energy. They want Canada's energy. They're panicking. They want, again, if you watch this show, energy is everything. Cheap, reliable energy is prosperity. And that's what they want. That's what they want from Canada. Yet, even if we wanted to sell them some of the stuff, we can't get a pipeline built. And you have to ask yourself, why do we keep supporting the people that stand in the way of prosperity for everybody? These same people are doing very well for themselves and are not worried about buying meat at the grocery store for their families, standing in the way of prosperity for everyday Canadians. You have the power. You have the vote. You have the power. Demand accountability. Demand action. It's time, because too many people are suffering for the benefit of the few. Too many people suffer for the benefit of the few.